Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraja Kacharya Asto Tata Sata Sri Srimadabai Charanada Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Savior of the whole world, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jam Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jam Vishnupad Gorakishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jam Vishnupad Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Jam Vishnupad Sarvabhauma Jagannath Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Six Goswamis of Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Shri Garanga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Shinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Redhyanta Stohya Bhadrani Vidunoti Shuritsatam Nasta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So repeatedly, Janen Agasya Gamyunjan Sarvotosyam Chamadbayam Sadhunam Badram Evasyam Asadu Damane Krite Jane Nagasya Gamyunjan Sarvotosya Chamadbayam Sadhunam Badram Evasyad Asadu Damane Krite Jane Nagasya Gamyunjan Sarvatosya Chadmadbayam Sadhunam Badram Evasyad Asadu Damane Krite. Then word by word, Jane, to the living beings, Anagasi, those who are offenseless, Agham, sufferings, Yunjan, by applying, Sarvataha, anywhere and everywhere, Asya, of such offenders, Ja, and Matbayam, fear me, Zadunam, of the honest persons, Badram, good fortune, Eva, certainly, Syat, will take place, Asadhu, dishonest miscreants, Damane, curbed, Krite, being so done. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Whoever causes offenseless, repeatedly, living beings to suffer, must fear me anywhere and everywhere in the world. By curbing dishonest miscreants, one automatically benefits the offenseless. Now if we can have 3 Prabhus and some Matajis to repeat the verse. Jane nagasya kamyunjan Zavatosya jamadbayam Sadhunam badram evasya Asadudam anekrite Jane nagasya kamyunjan Savatosya chamadbayam Sadhunam badram evasya Asadudam anekrite Jane nagasya gumyunjan Savatosya chamadbayam Sadhunam badram evasya Asadudam anekrite. And Matajis, please. Jane nagasya kamyunjan Savatosya chamadbayam Sadhunam badram evasya Asadudam anekrite Jane nagasya ganyugan Sarvatosya chamadbayam Sadhunam badram evasya Asadudam anekrite. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Dishonest miscreants flourish because of cowardly and impotent executive heads of state. But when the executive heads are strong enough to curb all sorts of dishonest miscreants in any part of the state, certainly they cannot flourish. When the miscreants are punished in an exemplary manner, automatically all good fortune follows. As said before, it is the prime duty of the king or the executive head to give protection in all respects to the peaceful, offenseless citizens of the state. The devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful and offenseless, and therefore it is the prime duty of the state to arrange to convert everyone to becoming a devotee of the Lord. Thus, automatically there will be peaceful, offenseless citizens. Then the only duty of the king will be to curb the dishonest miscreants. That will bring about peace and harmony all over human society. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Jakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishnam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Bhatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shriman Rasarasarambi Vamsivata Tatashtitaha Karshan Venu Svane Gopi Gopinata Shri Eshunaha. Firstly, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Hopefully we can bring joy and happiness. I'm inspired by His Holiness Indradyumna Swami when he says, every word is a song, every step is a dance, and every day is a festival. So we're extremely fortunate that this is the occasion of Sri Krishna Rasayana, Sri Krishna Sharadiya Rasayatra, as well as Murari Gupta's disappearance and Lakshmi Puja. So it's a very wonderful day, and we're very fortunate to be in the association of so many wonderful devotees. And firstly, I'd like to welcome the Sankirtan devotees back. They've been spreading the wings with Garuda, taking Prabhupada's books out to the fallen miscreants of this world. And so we welcome them back, headed by Sriman Nrsinga Prabhu, Bhava Vibhushana, Kamsari Sena, and Hamsa Sangha, who tells me he's following the line of Lalita Devi and Rupa Manjari. So hopefully we can take the dust of his lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So essentially where we're at in this chapter, the punishment and reward of Kali. So what's happened is a Shudra dressed as a king started beating Mother Cow, and also the son of Surabhi, the bull. So in this age of Kali, there's only one leg left of the bull. So that means all the other three legs have gone. So we've lost mercifulness, we've lost austerity, and we've lost cleanliness, and we're left with truthfulness. And even that is very on shaky grounds. As you can imagine, a big bull only has one leg, and so therefore it's very shaky. Okay, so previously Prabhupada explains that the bull is also a white lily color. So that means when the bull is white, you know that he's trying to surrender. It's universal when we see the white color in any battlefield that there is a surrender there. The bull wants to surrender, and the bull is also urinating, which means there's a continuous flow of Dharma eking out of the bull's body. So we see that in Kali Yuga, exponentially increase in the symptoms of Kali Yuga, more cow killing, and so how do we curb this miscreants? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vinashaya sarunam. Hang on a sec. Yeah, to annihilate the miscreants and to protect the devotees and to restore the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So it's very important to understand that Krishna will come and protect his devotees and annihilate the miscreants. So there's that two aspects there, which is very nice for sure. And also, I was reading Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, his explanation of this chapter, and he was explaining that this occurrence actually occurred in Kurukshetra. So we know Kurukshetra is very divine, Perhaps the greatest battle of Kurukshetra was when the Vrijvasis and the Dwarkavasis were trying to get Krishna to go back to Vrindavan and Dwarka respectively. So there was a big battle there. It's a very pious, Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra. It's a very wonderful historically occasion, and His Holiness Indradyumna Swami actually took the devotees there on Parikram and they performed like Harinam for the glorification of the Lord. So Kurukshetra is where this occurred. And so the bull is being beaten by a Shudra. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says he's dressed as a king. So with beautiful hair, nice moustache, no calluses on his hands because he's not performing any work, but still he's a Shudra because he's lacking understanding about the protection of the cows. Srila Prabhupada says we should protect all our 7 mothers. The first mother is the biological mother, then the Guru Patni or the wife of the Guru, then mother, the teacher mother, then the nurse mother, mother cow, Mother Earth. So all the mothers must be protected in this age of Kali. So this king was beating the cows, and then along comes Parakit Maharaj. So he's got a beautiful golden chariot with bows and arrows, and then in a thunderous voice he says, "Who are you? What are you doing? How dare you do this?" And so then he pulls back his arrow, and he's going to shoot on the spot this Shudra who's beating the cows. And so then he allows him to respond. And then, so also, then Maharaj Parikshit speaks to the bull and said, "Are you some devata that's supposed to cause lamentation for us? Because how can this be happening in my kingdom? How can this be happening in the kingdom of the sons of Pandu?" So it's a very beautiful situation where Parakit Maharaj, eventually he does kill this miscreant in accordance with scriptural injunctions. And then the protection of the bull and the cow is guaranteed. So it's very important for us, and it's very heartwarming that we understand with this yatra here, we have a protection of the cows. The mother cow dairy is providing beautiful sanctuary for all the cows, and so we can lovingly take all the 5 products of the cow are worshipable in Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Devotion or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's explained that all the items of the cow are actually worshipable deities. And I saw this personally myself by one devotee in Vrindavan who actually, when the toenail comes off the cow, he would use it as around his neck as a garland. And so there's beautiful situations where Prabhuji was reminding us when he grew up, there was a situation where every single cow was given the first chapati in the house. So they knew when dinner time came, when lunchtime came, the cow would be there first, and then they would have the first chapati. So it's very much the cow is honored in the Vedic culture, for sure. So anyway, so then we think to ourselves, what can we do? We're so small. You know, and Prabhupada reminds us of the story of the sparrow and the great ocean. So in that situation, the sparrow gives birth to some eggs and then lays them just by the side of the great ocean. And then seeing this, the great ocean takes the eggs and pulls them right out to the back of the sea. And then Prabhupada remarks that the story of the sparrow is so wonderful for inspiration and determination, because that sparrow then says, okay, I'm going to empty out this ocean and then carry all this water away. Such is my determination. So we can do something. And then as soon as the sparrow was doing this, Garuda chimed in, and then he said to the great ocean, please give these eggs back to the sparrow, and then that occurred accordingly, for sure. Okay, and there's another beautiful story. We were reading through Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, and then there was one devotee by the name of Lilavati, and this is harping on that sense of protection. And so they were going to a festival when Prabhupada was in the front seat, and she had a young infant on her back. And then this is Prabhupada speaking to Lilavati, and then Prabhupada says to her, oh, burden of affection. So carrying the little baby is a burden of affection. And then Lilavati turns to Prabhupada and says, yes, yes, that's of course. And then Prabhupada asks her the question, which is better, the kitten baby or the monkey baby? And then so quite bewildered, Lilavati said, I'm not sure, Prabhupada, you tell me. And then Prabhupada said, it's the kitten baby, because the kitten is completely surrendered to the mother. The cat carries around the kitten like in its teeth, and so the kitten is completely surrendered, whereas the monkey holds on by himself. He believes himself to be strong enough and powerful, enough to hold on to the back of his mother. So he does that. And Prabhupada said this is like the yogi. The yogi believes I can do everything. I don't need to surrender. I want to become God. Whereas the devotee is like the kitten, completely submissive. Please, Krishna, help me in this situation. I'm in a very fallen situation, so please come and save me. Okay, and also I wanted to just tell a story because in this age it's very fallen. And we forget that actually in every living entity there is the super soul, samasaveshu bhuteshu. In every living entity there's a super soul as well as the individual soul. So what we see now is we see quite wealthy people going to Vrindavan, and there was a tree cut down, a big heavy thick neem tree. So this neem tree provided shelter to the cows. Then 15 to 20 degrees lower the temperature was, such that the cows and the brahmanas and the brajvasis could sit and nestle underneath this tree and then they'd have some respite from the great heat. Because it does get to like 50 degrees temperature in the summer's heat of Vrindavan, for sure. And if you're fortunate enough to be there during Purushottam month, it always occurs during the summertime. And then you often see the Brijvasis sing, Mira ke Prabhu Girivardhari. So all year round they sing this bhajan. And it's a very wonderful because they're actually blind devotees, and then their only source of income is from the dhan that they get or the charity they get for singing their bhajans. And so every single day in winter, they're from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. And then in summertime, when it gets very hot, they start at 10 p.m. and finish at 6 a.m. All year round. If you pass through that area of Govardhan Hill, they're definitely there. Okay, so we must protect these trees. We must understand that they're providing shelter for the cows. So how do we do that? The atonement recommended is if we go to Vrindavan, we can go to the nursery, we just plant some neem trees. We can plant some banyan trees, and then these trees will flourish, and it will restore them for sure. Okay, and also another situation which is reminiscent of this is Mrigari the hunter. So he was such a decrepit individual that he wanted to shoot the little animals. And not for food, not for sustenance, anything like that. It was just for fun for him. And he not even to kill, just to injure the animal. And so upon the scene comes Narada Muni, which to everyone's delight. Upon taking darshan and hearing the wonderful words of Narada Muni, Mrigari becomes a devotee, and then therefore no longer wants to step on the ground such that he might injure the ants. So it's a very beautiful story for sure. Okay, and I wanted to speak about, like we speak here, Vinashaya Chaduskritam. So when does Krishna annihilate the miscreants? And so one of the most beautiful stories was in the Ram Leela, when I was hearing about the killing of Ravana. So it's an amazing fight between Ram and Ravana. And so what ensues is so many battling, and then finally a spear is hurled toward Lakshman, and that it impales him. But then everyone realizes, okay, he's still effulgent, he's still talking, he's still going to be able to survive. So in that instance, Hanuman leapt over to the Himalayan mountains and brought back every single herb on top of those Himalayan mountains such that he could heal Lakshmana. And then it's a beautiful fight that ensues because all the demigods see that Ram is outnumbered in this battle now that Lakshman is injured, and so they provide him with Matali, a chariot, so that he can fight back against Ram. And so then there's beautiful, so many arrows are shot. So Ravana shoots his arrows, and they've got like thousands of serpents coming out of each one of the arrow. And then as a contradiction, or as to counteract that, Ram shoots his arrow, and then they've got so many Garudas, and each one of those Garudas attack the snake serpents coming out of the arrows of Ravana. And so this goes on and on for for what seems like a long time. And then it's really beautiful because Agastya Muni comes onto the scene and he says, I can see you're fatigued, Ram, so perhaps if you just say this mantra and then pray to the sun god, Surya Bhagavan, then he can restore all your energy and your enthusiasm and your vitality, and then you can take over Ravana. So Ram prays to the sun god this beautiful mantra, and then he is healed, and then he subsequently realizes then that, okay, the demigods are on my side, and then he uses the Brahmastra weapon to shoot Ravana, and then Ravana dies. And so it's really interesting, the chastisement that Ram gives to Ravana is because Ravana actually kidnaps Sita. So Ram says to Ravana, you're like a dog, because only a dog would steal the food of his householder when no one's watching. So it's a wonderful pastime for sure. And then I want to just also, when we hear Vinashaya Chaduskritam, Krishna also kills Shankachud. So Shankachud has a very beautiful ornament on his forehead, shaped like a conch shell. So that's why his name is Shankachud. And he's actually an associate with Kuvera, and so Kuvera is the treasurer of the heavenly planets. So as we know, in the heavenly planets is for sense enjoyment, it's for opulence, it's for none of the restrictions that are there in Goloka Vrindavan or the Prabhupada gives us. So Kuvera, so Shankachud sees on this very beautiful night, Krishna and Balaram are playing in the forests of Vrindavan, and they're singing very melodiously. So that it would be a bhajan such as Sundara Bala Sachitu Lala Nachata Shri Hare Kirtaname Sundara Bala Sachitu Lala Nachata Shri Hare Kirtaname Sundara Bala Sachitu Lala Nachata Shri Hare Kirtaname. So Krishna and Balaram are singing very melodiously, and they're smelling the beautiful fragrance from the Malika flowers. So the Malika flowers are so fragrant and amorous, and then so the bumblebees are just getting intoxicated by the fumes of these Malika flowers, and Krishna and Balaram are singing so melodiously. Onto the scene comes Shankachud, who sees this and says, these are just normal cowherd boys. What are they doing with such beautiful women? So then he thinks, okay, I'm going to act as the proprietor, I'm going to act as the husband, and therefore I'm going to take these cowherd girls and they're going to follow me. So he starts commanding them, and they follow him in a northerly direction. And so then Krishna and Balaram are just in their bhajan, and then all of a sudden they hear the cries, Krishna, Balaram, please help. And so then they wake up out of their bhajan, and so then they get these two big sticks. So, and then Krishna says to Balaram, okay, you take care of the gopis, I'm going to go and kill Shankachud. So you can see he's got so much relish and so wonderful taste to like, okay, I'm going to kill Shankachud. And it's a very beautiful situation where rather than getting the stick, he just hits him once with his fist. And then Shankachud is dead, because Shankachud, like being cowardly, he's running away. And so then it's such a beautiful scene, because then Krishna removes the shank, or the conch shell-shaped very beautiful ornament, and rather than keeping for himself, this is demonstrating that Krishna is so magnanimous that he gives this ornament to Balaram. Such is his love for Balaram, for sure. And I thought that was a very beautiful highlighting of Vinashaya Chaduskritam. Okay. So also I wanted to speak about Vrindakund. It's a very amazing project headed by Daivi Shakti and Dinabandhu, because this is, in this age, as we hear, the executive heads are not protecting the devotees, they're not protecting the cows. However, the shining example in this age is when Vrindakund, the devotees like Dinabandhu and Daivi Shakti, and Daivi Shakti should be glorified because she's spent 40 years in Vrindavan. And I was fortunate enough to hear a class in 2015, Kartik Parikram of Indrajumna Swami, and she was explaining about how the pujari there realized that the Vrindakund was getting quite out of control, so they needed to get the ISKCON devotees to restore it back to its glory. And so they did that with Vrindakund at the front and Govindakund at the back. And so now Vrinda Devi is wonderfully, gloriously worshipped and gorgeously taken care of there. However, also there's miscreants in Vrindakund as well, because we saw Daivi Shakti related the story where some dacoits saw all the Western devotees, you know, singing to Vrinda Devi and praising her and glorifying her, garlanding her with beautiful flowers. And then so the dacoits said, okay, well, I'm going to steal this. It must be worth something. So they stole the Vrindakund deity away from the devotees. And immediately the response from the devotees was like they were in so much trepidation. Oh, we were just given Vrindakund by the pujari to take care of her, and now all of a sudden it's gone. And then so they realized that not a blade of grass moves without the sweet will of the Lord, and then they were able to strengthen themselves together, and they thought, Krishna will come back. Krishna always comes back. And it was so beautiful. Vrinda Devi will always come back. That was their mantra. So let's clean the Kund, and they restored Vrinda Kund to all its opulence and all its wonderful, with beautiful, moksha flowers and beautiful champaka flowers and beautiful malika flowers all around. And such, it is a tremendous gift to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya that we do have this Vrinda Kund available to us now. And so Daivi Shakti, she enabled this project to occur. And then so what happened to the devotees who stole that deity away? They developed leprosy in the family, they lost all their money, there was marital breakdown, because obviously the devotees were meant to take care of Vrinda Devi. So, and then eventually they gave the deity back. They go, this deity is doing no good for us at all, so you take it back. Okay, so it was very wonderful, for sure. And on this wonderful occasion, I've also like to speak about Lakshmi Puja. So in the fourth text of Radhikashtakam, it's explained that Radharani is much more beautiful than Lakshmi Devi. However, there's a beautiful story that Bhakti Purushottam Swami relates in his glorification of Jagannath, whereby Jagannath marries Lakshmi Devi, and then when they get married, then it's explained that what happens is the father of Lakshmi Devi says, okay, you have to take care of Lakshmi Devi, and whatever she does, you never speak harshly to her, and you always adorn her with wonderful saris, and you always give her beautiful gifts. However, so it arose in her heart that Lakshmi Devi wanted to feed all of the residents of Jagannath Puri, not only the brahmanas and the cows, but all of the residents. Such was her heart. Like Radharani is the queen of forgiveness, the queen of compassion. And so Lakshmi Devi is an expansion of Radharani. And so she also had these wonderful qualities of compassion, and she wanted to feed all the residents of Jagannath Puri. So she went out to the homes of the Chandalas and the Mlechas, and then just started giving them prasadam, at which point she came back, and Jagannath chastised her and said, what are you doing giving this prasadam? This is for the cows and the brahmanas, not for the Chandalas and the Mlechas. And so Lakshmi Devi was so upset by the chastisement of her husband that she ran away into the forest. And then so it was up to Jagannath and Baladev. Then they thought, we can do this ourselves. We'll just cook. And they realized how hard and difficult it was to cook for even just the cows and brahmanas. Brahmanas, I like my sweet rice like this, and I like my halva has to be cooked like this. And so it was out of the area of Jagannath and Baladev to be able to cook for all the cows and brahmanas. And so they realized, okay, we have to get Lakshmi Devi back. So they went on this massive journey trying to find Lakshmi Devi, and fair enough, she found a residence where she could cook for all the Chandalas and Mlechas. And so this is why to this day, if you go to Jagannath Puri, there's free prasadam for everyone, irrespective of caste, creed, understanding of Vedic literature, everything. It's all welcome. And Prabhupada exemplified this aspect of everyone is all welcome. Essentially, Bhakti Siddhanta said, only a neophyte devotee has some sectarianism. So the discrimination or bigotry that's directed to a particular group or an individual, that's only there in neophyte devotee. However, once we advance in spiritual life, then an individual starts interacting with people as on the soul level. So saying sadhu samam sarveshu bhuteshu. So the Krishna is in the heart of everyone, the soul is there as well. Okay, which brings us to the wonderful occasion of Krishna Sharadiya Rasayatra. So what does this mean? And it's wonderfully glorified in chapter 29 of the Krishna book, where the full moon rises in Vrindavan. And so essentially where we are now is we've had the 4-month period of Chaturmas, and then the last month of this is Kartik. So Kartik is the glorification of Lord Damodar. So we often hear, if you ever get the chance to hear or your desire can be for hearing Mother Yashoda's kirtan, because she's not playing kartals, she's Jai Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. So Damodar Mas begins tomorrow or the 15th of October, according to whichever calendar you wish to follow. And if you're fortunate enough to be in Vrindavan in the Krishna Balaram temple on this occasion of Sharat Purnima, what they do is they put a whole lot of sweet rice on top of the roof, and so the moon rays start coating these beautiful sweet rice or kheer, And then you can wake up the next morning for Mangalarti and you can have these beautiful sweet rice treats. And it's very wonderful and ecstatic experience for sure. And Dinabandhu to this day still leads a Govardhan parikrama around Govardhan Hill on this wonderful auspicious occasion of Shara Purnima. So we're very fortunate to be hearing about these subject matters. And also, if anyone realizes there's white deities, because this is the same every temple in Vrindavan, the deities are dressed up in white, because it's meant to be a reflection of Krishna being the moon. So Raghunath Das Goswami explains that Krishna is the moon of the forest of Vrindavan, and then Srimati Radharani is his most dear object of love. Lalita Devi is her most intimate friend, and Vishaka Devi is the supreme, the foremost guru distributing love of God. So we worship Krishna as the moon. Prabhupada writes in the Srimad Bhagavatam that the moon and the sun are like Krishna's eyes. So that's why Krishna is always there with us. He's always present with us, for sure. And so essentially when we look at the Sharat festival, what it means is the start of the Rasa Lila dance. And we won't enter into that esoteric understanding of the Rasa Lila. However, we can talk about the prelude to that. So what happens? So essentially, when Krishna was 7 years of age, he lifted Govardhan Hill. This is because he cheekily wanted to remove the Indra Puja off the Vaishnava calendar for the Vrajvasis, and he wanted to reinstate the Govardhan Puja. So everyone loves Govardhan Hill, Aniyor, Aniyor, give me more, give me more. So Govardhan is glorified by the Vrajvasis. If everyone gets the opportunity to go to Vrindavan, do a Govardhan Parikram, there's wonderful temples all around there. And then the culmination of Govardhan Hill is the two eyes of Krishna, or the two eyes of Govardhan Hill, which is Radha Kund and Shama Kund. So there's all the Goswami deities. So there's Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Gopinath, Radha Damodar, Radha Raman, and so many other wonderful devotees. And there's also Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's house. There's also the Pushpa Samadhis, or the Pushpa Samadhis of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, because they all disappeared on the same day. So if anyone's ever fortunate enough to take bath in Radhakund, because that was actually the last instruction Srila Prabhupada gave on his dying bed. They said, Prabhupada, what can we do for you? And he said, I want you all to take bath in Radhakund on my behalf. So Prabhupada didn't ever take bath in Radhakund. He considered himself too unfortunate or too fallen to take bath in Radhakund, such is his humility and compassion. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. However, he did give the instruction to all his disciples to take bath in Radhakund. However, Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, who is a GBC, does explain in his Radhakund Parikram that perhaps one should be second initiated before one takes bath, such that one can really understand the mellows and the rasas, or at least have some awe and reverence for Radhakund. Okay, so on the Shara Purnima, Krishna is 7 years old. He lifts up Govardhan Hill, which is much to the delight of all the Vrajvasis. Perhaps they say this is their favorite pastime of Krishna because they're all together in the one place. Mother Yashoda is there with Nanda Maharaj. And then Madhu Mangal, who's everyone's favorite cheeky Brahmana, says it's not actually Krishna holding up Govardhan Hill, it's me with my mystic mantras. And then it's also beautiful that the cowherd men are saying, oh, Krishna's only a little boy. He's not holding up Govardhan Hill, it's us with our sticks. And there's Prabhupada captures this in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, whereby he says, Krishna cheekily looking at the gopi girls, and then he's caught by Balaram. And then so his cheeks become crimson red. By being caught by Balaram. So it's a wonderful pastime with Govardhan Puja. And so this occurred when Krishna was 7 years old. And then so we have in the Vedic, in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we have the Katyayani Vrat. So after Kartik, every year there's the Katyayani Vrat. And so His Grace Aindra Prabhu celebrated this every year when he was in Vrindavan. And it would intake extra austerities, such as only taking 1 meal a day and only eating mung beans and rice. Very simple prasadam, no salt, no masala, nothing. Just very simple rice and mung beans or dal. and for a whole month. And the whole prayer to Katyayani is to have Krishna as their husband. So the Sharadiya Purnima is Krishna's response to that, because Krishna reciprocates with his devotees. Okay, he had to make them wait for a year. So on his 8th year, Krishna decides, okay, now I'll reciprocate with the devotees and allow every single gopi in Vrindavan who prayed the Katyayani Vrat to be my wife for the evening. Bear in mind that one night of Lord Brahma, which the Rasa Lila took place, is 8.6 billion of our years. So it's quite a... And we have to realize that we're not on that platform. In the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes that the gopis are under the experience of Yoga Maya. So everything is connected with Krishna, whereas the dancing in this material world is Mahamaya, so the great Maya. So, and it's very beautiful because after the decision Krishna makes to dance with the cowherd girls, after lifting Govardhan Hill, there's a sequence of events where on the 10th day, after the lifting of the Govardhan Hill, then all the devotees are just glorifying Krishna for his wonderful feats of lifting Govardhan Hill. And then on the 11th day, it's Ekadasi, so everyone's fasting. And on the 12th day, Nanda Maharaj is actually arrested and then subsequently released under the order of Krishna, because Krishna's only 8 years old, but he's very intelligent. He went to school for 64 days, graduated in 64 days. So, and then so Krishna decides to reciprocate with the devotees and has this dance, and he waits for the full moon night. And so even in Vrindavan to this day with Banki Bihari, because the pujaris at Banki Bihari are so protective of him, they realize they've got to open the curtain and close it very quickly because Banki Bihari wants to go out. You know, they found Banki Bihari on the Jamuna River. They had to force him back into the temple, so they only open it very quickly and then close it, such as there's a fear amongst the pujaris that Banki Bihari will just leave of his own accord. However, on this Sharad Purnima, they put Banki Bihari in the courtyard, and the Banki Bihari temple is an open courtyard, and so it allows the moon to shine on Banki Bihari. And so Prabhupada says even for the non-devotees, they still worship the full moon night. So there's a lot of foreigners who go to the Taj Mahal to see the moon on the Taj Mahal, whereas the devotees just want to see the moon on Krishna's face. And then in this section of the Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada writes that if you ever want to enjoy with your material friends, if you ever want friendship or wealth in this material world, don't look at that boy who's dancing with his flute on the Jamuna River. Or don't even look at his lips at all, because your whole material life will be over. And Prabhupada explains this is the example of an individual advancing spiritual life or Krishna consciousness. All the material affairs become distasteful. So there was one saint who's explained when someone even talks about sex life, then spit forms in his mouth and he wants to spit it out. So this is when an individual advances spiritually, they lose the taste for the material affairs and they desire the taste of the spiritual affairs, or the singing or the dancing with Krishna. So even we know for a fact, Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nritya Gita, so Lord Chaitanya is pleased when devotees are singing and dancing. So it's the second verse of Gurvastakam of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So therefore, how important is that? The devotees singing and dancing for Krishna is very pleasing to Lord Chaitanya. Okay, then the next section that Prabhupada talks about is the conversation. After blowing the flute, all of a sudden the gopis just leave. They abandon their affairs. Some of them are breastfeeding their babies, some of them have got a hot milk on the stove, some of them are cutting up sabjis for their husbands. And then Prabhupada reminds us that even at 8 years old, in the Vedic culture of times past, women were married at that time to a boy of similar age. So Prabhupada was very firm on that, the boy of a similar age. And then it's very important to understand that they just abandon everything. So some of them had makeup half done, they're wearing the lower part of their clothing on their upper body clothing on the lower body. Such was their determination just to run out. And actually some of the husbands and brothers of these gopis actually became so protective that they locked the girls in the house. And then Prabhupada reminds us that then these girls who were locked in the house, they actually just started meditating on Krishna's Venu, Krishna's, which is his flute, Krishna's form, Krishna's, and also Krishna's pastimes and his leelas. So, and Prabhupada, and even in the Krishna book, it says, Mam Eva, so that always think of me. Eke ha Kurunandana. Krishna is explaining, always think of me. So irrespective if you're locked up, then you can always think of Krishna and then actually be taking part in the exchanges. However, in Madhurya Kadambini of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the stages from Shraddha to Prema, it's explained that actually for the performance of the yagya in the mind, one has to have passed through ruchi, or taste. So you have to have a taste for the holy name of the Lord. And that book of Madhurya Kadambini of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains all of the symptoms. When an individual has full faith in the holy names of the Lord, then there's no longer material attachments. So, and then we think to ourselves, do we have material attachments? Are we affected by those people in the material world? Okay, perhaps we haven't even got full faith or shraddha for the holy name. What to speak of performing pujas in our mind. However, there's a famous story where Raghunath Das Goswami was excavating Radhakund, and he was very famous for his renunciation, only taking a quarter cup of buttermilk maybe every second day, performing 1,000 dandavats every day. This is explained in Srinivasacharya's Sad Goswami Ashtakam. The Goswamis of Vrindavan are bowing down on a scheduled measurement every day. So Raghunath Das Goswami is only taking a very minute portion of prasadam. However, he had the ability to bow down in a scheduled measurement. Okay. So then the next section we come up to was Krishna. What did then Krishna say to the gopis after they've left their husbands, they've abandoned their family life, and then so what does Krishna say? And then so Krishna, being the master of everything, like complete in the knowledge, complete in renunciation, complete in beauty, complete in fame, and complete in strength, Krishna is sitting down at 8 years of old. The gopis have just run off. Some are half clothed, some of there's makeup everywhere, hair strewn everywhere. And then so Krishna says, why did you come here? Krishna says, you know, you've come out in the middle of the night. There's jackals, there's foxes, there's all sorts of dangerous animals. Why did you come here? And then he's treating them in a cordial manner. And then so the gopis are just laughing amongst themselves. And he's treating us like ordinary society girls. And then Krishna then explains to the gopis about the importance of the wife being chaste to her husband. Even if he's sick, even if he's not following Vedic principles, you still need to be chaste to your husband. This beautiful dialogue occurs. And then the gopis finally get a chance to talk. And the gopis turn back and say, because they know they can't rebuke Krishna because they see him as a superior. So there's no harsh words spoken by the gopis. However, it comes out, you're cruel. How could you be so cruel? We're completely under the influence of your flute. And so how can you be so cruel? And then they counter every single point. The goddess of fortune is upon your chest. Your hair is the most beautiful in the entire three worlds. Your flute, when it's played, it plays such a melodious song that even the stones melt. How can you say to us, why would we come? So it's a beautiful dialogue between Krishna and the gopis on Sharad Purnima that occurs, and we don't have the ability to enjoy these pastimes because we don't have so much rasa. However, that's something to look forward in the future. And so the conclusion of this is then Krishna starts pinching the gopis and then, okay, we'll have this dance. And then all of a sudden the gopis start thinking, oh, we're the most fortunate women in the whole world. At which point Krishna just completely abandons them. So we have to remember Sada Damban Hitva, always give up pride. And Prabhupada defined pride as the belief that we are superior to any living entity. So how many times do we say, oh, it's just a tree or that's just a dog? However, when Prabhupada went to New York, he was giving pranams to the street dogs. which Jamuna in her autobiography, like a lot of the devotees were bewildered because they'd seen gurus before, and the gurus were, glorified and sometimes treated others harshly. However, here's Prabhupada coming to the West, and he's giving his pranams to the street dogs. So much love, and this is someone who has completely left pride behind. No pride in his heart. He believes himself to be inferior to every living entity. Often Prabhupada said, you hear, I heard Gaura Govinda Maharaj saying, I'm the last person to be going home back to Godhead. And they sincerely believe it. The Uttamadhikari believes himself to be the most fallen. However, the condition of the neophyte devotee is he believes himself to be the most spiritually advanced. So it was a very beautiful understanding that, so the gopis start hugging trees, and then tears fall from their eyes, that they've lost the most beautiful jewel in the whole of Vrindavan. The goddess of the fortune resides on his chest, and then Krishna disappears. And so even to this day, if you go to Vrindakund, Dinabandhu will encourage everyone to drink water there, or the jal. He said, take this Vrindavan jal. It's only salty because of the tears from the gopis have flooded this region, still to this day, and so that's why the water is salty when you drink it there. And if you do, you taste the hand pumps, and there's salty water there. And also Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are crying profuse tears, such they want Krishna to come back to Vrindavan as well. So that's how the Sharad Punim festival is worshipped and glorified in Vrindavan. And also we need to talk about Murari Gupta on this divine day of his disappearance. So Murari Gupta is an expansion of Hanuman. Therefore, when he appears in Gaur Leela, Murari Gupta is an Ayurvedic doctor. So that means, isn't that a wonderful situation where Hanumanji jumps across the mountain, picks up the Himalayan mountain with all the herbs on the top, and then when he appears in Gaur Leela, he becomes an Ayurvedic doctor. So Murari Gupta, still to this day, he worships very gorgeously Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman deities in a house. It's a very small house and quite austere. It's a 1 kilometer walk from the Mayapur campus, and there's Srinivasacharya's house very close by. So Murari Gupta performs so many wonderful pastimes, and so it's really perhaps one of the most beautiful pastimes is Murari Gupta is cooking with his wife in the kitchen on the Sharad Punima. And then so they're cooking this beautiful sweet rice. And then Murari Gupta just enters into this amazing ecstasy, like he's shaking, hairs standing up on end and tears streaming from his eyes. And he's saying, I need to feed Krishna, I need to feed Krishna. So he starts pouring out this sweet rice that they cooked onto the floor of their bhajan kutir, the floor of him and his wife's house. And his wife's saying, what are you doing, Murari? Murari. And then because when the devotees enter into transcendental loving reciprocations with Krishna Chaitanya, they lose where they are. So Murari Gupta was completely lost. He had no understanding where he was, and he starts pouring this sweet rice on the floor to the vision of his wife. However, he knows that he's personally feeding Krishna. Oh, Krishna, here, take this sweet rice, take this sweet rice. And so later on, Lord Chaitanya knocks on his door, and Murari Gupta, being a doctor, Lord Chaitanya goes there and he goes, oh, Lord Chaitanya says, oh, you need to heal me. I've got this terrible sickness. And then Murari Gupta goes, oh, so is it the indigestion? And then Lord Chaitanya turns around and says, you rascal, you fed me so much sweet rice yesterday. You need to provide me some herbs. So I thought that was a very beautiful pastime. There's also another wonderful pastime where Lord Chaitanya appears as Lord Ramachandra, so he has the ability to shift between the avatars. So Lord Chaitanya appears as Ramachandra in front of Murari Gupta, and they have this loving exchange. And then he shifts back to Lord Chaitanya, and then Lord Chaitanya says to Murari Gupta, oh, you have to give up the worship of Lord Ramachandra. You just have to worship me, Krishna Chaitanya, now. And then so Murari Gupta is so confused and so bewildered because he thinks, Ram is my life and soul. Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ayodhya Vasi Ram, Ram Ram, Dasaratha Nandana Ram. So Lord Ramachandra is the Lord of my life. I can't give him up. And so then eventually Murari Gupta decides he's going to commit suicide by throwing himself in the confluence of the Jamuna and the Ganga. And then so at that point in time, Lord Chaitanya realized, okay, now I need to intervene and say, okay, I realize your attachment for Lord Ramachandra is very strong, and we're not going to take that away from you at all. So, it's all glories to Lord Murari Gupta on this wonderful day of his disappearance. All glories to Krishna. I'm sure Krishna is there. That's what I loved about studying this. I realized that all the pastimes are eternal and they're always simultaneously occurring. So even to this day, you will, in some Goloka Vrindavan, you will experience, there will be the pastimes of this Rasa Lila dance occurring. And so what are also in the material world with Govardhan Hill, one speck of dust gets taken off every single day from Govardhan Hill. So as Kali Yuga progresses, Govardhan Hill will eventually be flat. And so that's what occurs in the material world. However, in the spiritual world, it's anandam buddhi vardhanam. It's always blissful when it's expanding. So the material world is always reducing. However, the spiritual world is always increasing. Okay, and then the all glories to the Gopis of Vrindavan, headed by Lalita, Vishaka, Tunga Vidya, Indulekha, Rangadevi, Sudevi, Champakalata, and Chitradevi. All glories to Radha Gopinath. Thank you so much for giving us this divine opportunity to speak on your behalf and on the behalf of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. I hope this has rendered everyone with some understanding of what Sharat Panim. All glories. Good luck with everyone with their Kartik Vrats. And hopefully we can, because Amarendra Prabhu said, if you can't follow the Chaturmas Vrat, then perhaps just follow the Kartik Vrat. Then if you can't follow the Kartik Vrat, just follow Bhishma Panchaka, which is the last 5 days. So we have to, this month is very auspicious, it's very wonderful. We look forward to hearing Mother Yashoda's kirtans, remembering that she doesn't play kartals, she just churns the butter, and then the bangles on her arms and her earrings, when she's going from side to side, that's her kirtan. And she's just glorifying Krishna. Oh, Mother Rohini, did you see Krishna's teeth growing in his mouth today? You know, Prabhupada explains that Mother Yashoda, she can speak about Krishna's teeth growing in his mouth for 311 trillion years. There's no limit. She could, oh, Krishna's teeth, isn't that wonderful? So we pray that we can follow in the footsteps. Very important to bear in mind that we're not Prakriti Sahajas who claim to follow or to be on the same level as Mother Yashoda. Will never experience anything like Srimati Radharani experiences or Mother Yashoda experiences. However, we can follow in the footsteps. Which means we can meditate on these loving pastimes, we can hear these loving pastimes, we can associate with the devotees, but very important to, and imitation, Prabhupada was very much against imitation, so often you see that the Prakriti Sahajas, even men with big full beards that be dressing up with all makeup and long hair and everything like that, and Prabhupada said just avoid that sort of thing, because we're following the footsteps of Mother Yashoda. We want to develop loving symptoms for Radha and Krishna. However, we just have to realize we're not on that platform for sure. Okay, so that's the culmination of the class. Thank you so much for lending your ears. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaur Premanandi.
Very nice question.
Jai Prabhupada.